Have you ever heard of a gardener who became an emperor, or a baby found floating in a basket who grew up to build the world's first empire? This isn't a myth or a fairy tale. It's the incredible true story of Sargon of Akkad, a man who changed the course of history over 4,000 years ago. Picture this: ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. A land of fertile river valleys, but also a patchwork of rival city-states. For centuries, cities like your Uruk and Kish were locked in a constant struggle for power, water, and resources. They built magnificent temples, developed writing, and created laws, but they were deeply divided. It was a world waiting for a unifier, someone with the vision and the will to bring them all together. That person was Sargon. But where did this legendary figure come from? The story of his birth is shrouded in mystery, told through a legend that sounds strikingly familiar. According to the story, Sargon's mother was a high priestess who had to keep his birth a secret. She placed him in a reed basket sealed with bitumen and set him afloat on the Euphrates River. The current carried the basket downstream, where a man named Akki, a royal gardener, found the baby. Akki raised Sargon as his own son, and Sargon grew up working in the gardens of the king of Kish. From these humble beginnings, how did a gardener rise to become the most powerful man in the world? The details are murky, but it seems Sargon was not only hard-working, but also incredibly charismatic and ambitious. He caught the attention of Yorzababa, the king of Kish, and eventually became his cupbearer. Now, being a cupbearer in ancient times wasn't just about pouring wine. It was a position of immense trust and proximity to power. You were the king's confidant, his last line of defense against poison, and you heard everything that happened in the royal court. It was from this position that Sargon made his move. The legends tell of a power struggle. The king, perhaps growing fearful of Sargon's growing influence and popularity, tried to get rid of him. But Sargon outmaneuvered him. He didn't just survive, he seized power for himself. Leaving the old city of Kish behind, Sargon founded his own capital, Akkad. The exact location of this legendary city is one of archaeology's greatest mysteries, but its name would soon echo across the ancient world. Akkad became the heart of a new kind of power. With his own city and a loyal army, Sargon began a campaign of conquest that was unprecedented. He wasn't just raiding his neighbors for loot. He had a grander vision. He marched south, taking on Lugal-Zagassi of Uruk, the dominant king in the Sumerian south, who had already united many of the city-states under his own rule. The battle was fierce, but Sargon's military genius shone through. He captured Lugal-Zagassi, put him in a neck stock, and paraded him through the gates of the temple in Nippur, a symbolic act showing that the gods now favored Sargon. One by one, the great Sumerian city-states fell to Sargon's armies. Lagash he washed his weapons in the sea, as the inscriptions say, signifying that his control stretched all the way to the Persian Gulf. But he didn't stop there. His campaigns pushed west into modern-day Syria and Lebanon, and east into what is now Iran. He boasted of a domain that stretched from the upper sea to the lower sea, from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf. For the first time in history, a vast, multicultural expanse of territory was united under a single ruler. The Akkadian Empire was born. So what made Sargon's empire different? It was a true revolution in governance. Instead of just ruling from his capital, Sargon installed trusted Akkadian citizens as governors in the conquered cities to ensure their loyalty. He standardized weights, measures, and even the calendar across his empire, which made trade and administration far more efficient. Imagine going from a dozen different systems to just one knit. Was a game-changer for the ancient economy. He also established a standing army, a professional force that was loyal to him alone, not to individual cities. This allowed him to respond quickly to rebellions and further expand his borders. Akkadian Sargon's Semitic language became the official language of administration, diplomacy, and trade throughout Mesopotamia, replacing Sumerian in official use. This linguistic shift had a profound and lasting impact on the culture of the entire region. Yet Sargon was clever. He respected the local traditions and religions of the people he conquered. He didn't try to erase Sumerian culture. Instead, he blended it with his own. A brilliant example of this is what he did with his daughter, Enheduanna. He appointed her as the high priestess of the moon god Nana in the powerful city of Ur. This was a masterstroke. It not only gave him control over a major religious center, but also created a powerful link between his Akkadian rule and the Sumerian religious establishment. And Hajuana herself is a towering figure in history. She is the world's first known author by name, a poet whose hymns to the gods were cherished for centuries. Sargon's reign, which lasted an incredible 56 years, was not without its challenges. The empire was vast, and the formerly independent city-states did not always submit quietly. Inscriptions tell us that in his later years, Sargon faced a general revolt of nearly all the lands he had conquered. But he crushed it. He held his empire together through sheer force of will and military might, passing it on to his sons. The Akkadian Empire he founded would last for about 150 years. A model for every empire that followed the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Persians, and even the Romans. They all look back to Sargon's blueprint: a strong central government, a professional army, and a unified economic system. Sargon's legacy is monumental. He transformed a collection of squabbling city-states into a unified empire. He created a model of government that would be copied for millennia. He was a military innovator, a shrewd politician, and a cultural unifier. From a mysterious birth and humble beginnings as a gardener, he rose to become Sargon the Great, a name that has echoed through history for more than 4,000 years. His story is a powerful reminder that history is often shaped by individuals with extraordinary vision and ambition, individuals who dare to redraw the map of the world. So the next time you think about the great empires of history, remember the man who started it all. The gardener who became a king, the cupbearer who became a conqueror, the founder of the world's first true empire, Sargon of Akkad. Thanks so much for watching. If you found the story as fascinating as I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of history's most incredible figures. Let me know in the comments which historical personality you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.